4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studio in New York City. A fusion of politics, commentary, entertainment, and sports. Steve and his team bring you the latest news and opinion now. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, a couple of quick points before we get to Michael Meyers about the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol at the border is located 40 miles into the United States, according to Governor Perry. And according to Governor Perry, after he spoke to President Obama the other day, he came away with the impression that the president had no idea, did not know where his Border Patrol was located, did not know the stationing of the Border Patrol. Okay? Keep that in mind. And then there's a report today that the National Border Council is saying that once an illegal gets their notice to appear, their NBPC, or their notice to appear at a hearing, they get a piece of paper, notice to appear, they're being allowed onto commercial airliners within the United States to fly. That's right. No documentation except a notice to appear, and they could fly on commercial airlines. So the news keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So Barack Obama, according to Governor Perry, who probably knows how to shoot the red ball side pocket in Colorado with the governor and taking a photo op of it, the president doesn't really know where the Border Patrol is. All right, Michael Meyers is here. We're going to talk about this crazy case. Let's get some background on it right now.
The photo was meant to be satire, and I think that satire is directed at people who are already on my side of the issue. I don't think that I used this photo as a means to try to affect any change per se. I think I did it as a way to put a satirical spin on something that I felt was an issue, and I think a lot of people have mentioned it to me and brought it up to me that it's a way, especially I think in Black culture, it was mentioned in the Time letter that making jokes about a kind of culture that we can't change is something that has tend to been done in order to make things a little bit more lighthearted. Okay.
All right, folks, we're going to explain everything you just saw there. It involves the Lawrenceville School. Joining us now is Michael Meyers, President and Executive Director of the New York Civil Rights Coalition. Always good to see you, my friend.
My pleasure.
Thank you. All right, so explain what happened, and you wrote a letter that got widely published. And
open letter
yes.
to the headmaster of the Lawrenceville School, which is a private elite school. This young woman was a student at the Lawrenceville School. She was student body president, and she dressed up, quote unquote, like a typical Lawrenceville white boy. B-O-I, she spelled it. And she had a Yale sweatshirt and hockey stick and boots and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she was making fun of what she considered to be white culture, the typical Lawrenceville white student who was Republican and
was she the first black president of the student?
First black student body president. Now, it's enough to have speech codes at college, but speech codes at a high school? I mean, come on. This was freedom of speech. This was satire, it was mockery. Can you imagine if I were a columnist in a high school? Because I write. I speak freely. And I would mock, for example, all the people you're not supposed to mock, including the empty suit in chief. So if I had said that, the Lawrenceville officials would come down on me like they came down on this student. They said to her, you have got to resign as student body president because your speech is offensive. Now, this is outrageous. So I wrote the headmaster of Lawrenceville to say, what the heck are you doing? Because I read your mission. Your mission has an appreciation for diversity. Does that only mean skin color, or does that mean diversity of opinion? Now, this is the carbon copy, if you will, of what happened at a college, a public college at Arizona State University, where white students dressed up, quote unquote, like blacks, on Martin Luther King Jr. party. And they took a fall because the civil rights leaders in Arizona and the ACLU opposed and objected to their speech because it hurt the black students. Oh, it's so painful, offensive speech. So I had to intervene there too, because the ACLU is supposed to represent free speech. And so I had to embarrass the legal director of the ACLU and say, oh, you got the wrong position
You're
here.
just a troublemaker, apparently.
I believe in free speech. I believe in, and I warned them. I said, if you do this against white students who are dressing up black, you're going to go after get black students who are dressing white. And so this is my prediction came true. I got the ACLU to reverse itself.
Great.
And the civil rights leaders who in Arizona who were calling for the students' expulsion, they backed down too. They said, no, it's a teaching moment. We don't want them suspended or expelled. They were going to get expelled.
Without
but the fraternity fell apart, though. The fraternity league gave up their students in the sense of allowed the chapter to be suspended. It wasn't even a frat party. It was off campus, and under their own rules, it was not regarded as a frat party.
And wasn't this at the Lawrenceville School? Wasn't that an Instagram posting?
Yeah, this was a social student
media.
posting something on social media.
So what's going on with her? What's the end result?
Oh, she's graduated. The stories just came out.
Yeah.
But she's gone. She's at Diversity University called Wesleyan University.
Uh-oh. Isn't that where Hillary went?
Yeah, I don't know where Hillary went.
I'm
not a Hillary follower.
I believe was
but,
there, yeah.
But I'm telling you this, I'm not through with this issue. I have written to the headmaster. They have a search committee for a new headmaster, by the way.
Boy.
And I have told the search committee the criteria for a new headmaster. Our new headmaster must truly appreciate diversity, not just of skin color, but of opinion, and that people have a right, in terms of free speech, to engage in satire, mockery, and to make fun of each other.
But you know where we're headed as a nation. I mean, this is just a small example of what exists on every university in the country. And you asked a great question. Are you interested in diversity of color only or diversity of opinion? And the answer seems to be, in most universities, there are exceptions, diversity of color only.
They actually have speech codes on many universities.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're telling you what you cannot and cannot do and cannot say.
My son is 14. He's going into high school. He's very political. I mean, he gets himself, when I say trouble, I don't mean literal trouble, but he gets into arguments and stuff. And I say,
so did I when I was in high school.
But now, so all you got to do is have somebody run a video, edit what he says, and you can ruin a kid's life. So we're in a whole different ballgame.
We're in a different situation now because people now are attempting to protect minorities. And all of a sudden, when I was growing up, sticks and stones may break your bones. Words will never harm you. Now, words are so offensive, you cannot say them. If you say them, or you post them, or you put a funny picture up, you're in trouble with the administration and with your fellow students. Students, you've got to protect free speech. You got to start speaking up more, not less. And yes, be offensive. Upset some people, including people who need to be upset, like our empty suit in chief at the White House.
Don't think I'm not going to follow up on that. That's the second time, and we're going to get to that in a second. Yeah. There are people in this country who would love to see freedom of speech slashed to where, for instance, on the Muslim issue. And I believe if you do the investigation, Hillary, when she was Secretary of State, favored at the United Nations a bill that would make it kind of an international crime. If you offend Islam or say something derogatory about Islam, there would be repercussions. Now, you can't say what you want in many countries around. Ask Ann Coulter. She went to Canada, I think it was, and she couldn't talk. You could get arrested for saying things about Islam. Is that where this country is headed?
It seems to be that way, unless we have a Supreme Court that will hold the line.
Well,
and interpret our Constitution the way it's supposed to be interpreted. But you're right. International covenants have a way of, you cannot defame groups, races, religions. You can't defame them, whatever that means.
Whatever that means. And it means whatever anybody.
Exactly. But in our country, we make sure that we don't sign on to conventions that say in any way you vitiate our freedom of speech of the press.
All right, now, the president.
Yeah.
I've never seen a president act more or act less presidential. Yeah. In the last 2 weeks, it's almost painful to watch him talk, and it's all the same. Poor me. These guys, they're suing me? Suing me? For what? I'm doing my job. Go ahead, sue me. I mean, it's like over and over and over again. It's like he doesn't have any interest in anything except talking about himself and poor me, and they're picking on me, and I'm so frustrated. I'm trying to help you. Poor me. I've never seen anything like this. He's got 2 years left.
Steve, every time I come on your show, I make the faux pas of offending somebody.
Go ahead.
And I lose money, I lose supporters, I lose Everybody.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. But I lost one board member. The last one was on your show.
Are you
But
kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. But let me tell you something. You are absolutely right. This guy is so upset. Me. I call him I-bomber, not Obama. It's always I. He's always. I have not in my lifetime seen such a classless president. A person who doesn't act presidential. He's complaining that he doesn't want to go to the border because of photo ops. He's always in there photo op. Everything's about him.
Everything.
I mean, what was that thing in Denver? What was that thing at the barbecue? These are all photo ops.
We played, I think, 35 or 40 pictures in about a minute of him photo opping all over the place.
I don't believe in race. I really don't. But if I did, he would be an embarrassment to the race. So I believe in the presidency. I think he's an embarrassment to this nation as president. And there's nothing we can do about it. We got to wait it out because look who, the empty suit, who's the empty suit in waiting. I mean, if you were to impeach and remove Obama, and it's impractical and impossible, but you don't want Joe Biden. The people elected him, and they say you get the kind of government you deserve. You get the kind of government you elect, and that's what we are going to have to endure.
I was just I was on WABC Radio this morning as a guest of Rita Cosby, and we were talking about that with stop and frisk. I said, you know, the people, the record low turnout for mayor came to vote for mayor, and now you got all these shootings because you elected a mayor who wanted to stop and frisk. You get, like you said, you get what you deserve. Unfortunately. Hey, great to see you. I hope you don't lose any. Hey, bring that board member here. I'll talk some sense into him.
Former board member.
Well,
I don't have time to talk about stop and frisk, but I'll come back.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. All right, folks. The great Michael Meyers here on the Steve Malzberg Show. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by the associate editor of HotAir.com, Noah Rothman. And it's all straight ahead right here on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.